The year is 1910. The vibrant, often flamboyant Edwardian era draws to a sudden somber close. King Edward VII, the peacemaker, the uncle of Europe, the monarch who so embodied his age, is dead. At precisely 11:45 p.m. on the 6th of May in Buckingham Palace, the king breathed his last. A wave of grief swept across the nation, the empire, and indeed the courts of Europe. His son, now King George V, a man of different temperament, quieter, more reserved, deeply dutiful, stepped into the immense void left by his father. As the nation mourned and the intricate machinery of state funeral and succession ground into motion, George V made a decision. A seemingly small domestic change, yet one laden with symbolic weight. A quiet assertion of a new reign. A subtle departure from a peculiar habit of his late father. This decision concerned the clocks at Sandringham House, the beloved Norfolk retreat of the royal family. For years during the reign of Edward VII and influenced by Queen Alexandra, Sandringham had operated on its own unique temporal rhythm. The clocks throughout the estate, in the main house, in the stables, perhaps even in the village church, were deliberately kept half an hour fast. This was known as Sandringham Time. The reasons were charmingly practical, born of Edward's love for outdoor pursuits, particularly shooting. Setting the clocks forward provided a little more daylight in the winter afternoons for these activities, ensuring no moment of potential sport was lost to the encroaching dusk. It was a personal quirk, a royal eccentricity, a testament to the king's passions. Staff, guests, even visiting dignitaries all had to adjust to this local time anomaly when at Sandringham. It was part of the fabric of life there, a subtle reminder of the king's personality and preferences. But with Edward's passing, George V, a man of more conventional habits, saw fit to make a change. One of his early acts as the new sovereign, amidst the weight of grief and the assumption of immense responsibility, was to order that the clocks at Sandringham be restored to Greenwich Mean Time. The era of Sandringham Time was over. This was more than just a practical adjustment. It was a quiet signal. The freewheeling, leisurely pace often associated with his father's court, symbolized by those advanced clocks, was giving way to a more disciplined, perhaps more austere, reign. George V was a naval man accustomed to precision, to order. Sandringham Time, a charming indulgence of his father, perhaps felt out of step with the new king's sense of propriety and regularity. Imagine the scene, the solemn atmosphere at Sandringham in the days following Edward's death. And then, the quiet instruction given. Clockmakers, or perhaps trusted household staff moving through the silent rooms, carefully, respectfully, turning back the hands of each timepiece by 30 minutes. Each tick as the clocks were reset, a small echo of the larger transition underway. It was a gentle but firm dismantling of one of his father's personal stamps on the royal household. The suspense here is not of dramatic action, but of subtle shifts in power and personality. The end of Sandringham Time was a quiet marker of the end of an era. It spoke of a son stepping out from under the shadow of a larger-than-life father, establishing his own rhythm, his own order. It was a private act within the royal domain, yet it resonated with the broader changes that were to come under George V's reign, a reign that would face the cataclysm of the First World War and navigate profound social transformations. While the specific tradition of stopping all royal clocks precisely at the moment of a monarch's death to be maintained thereafter is not a continuously observed practice stemming from Edward VI, the act of resetting the Sandringham clocks by George V was a significant symbolic gesture directly linked to his father's passing and the dawn of his own reign. It was a return to standard time, a quiet reassertion of a different kind of royal order. The legacy of Sandringham Time remains a fascinating footnote in royal history, a glimpse into the personal preferences of Edward VI and Queen Alexandra. And George V's decision to end it serves as a poignant reminder that with each new monarch comes not just a change in title, but a subtle recalibration of the customs, the atmosphere, and even the very passage of time within the royal sphere. The clocks at Sandringham were put right, and a new chapter began.